Scientifically speaking, we're sharing the view. From labs to clinics, breakthrough shining through. With minds that inspire and stories to unfold. Scientifically speaking, the future's being told.
Welcome back to Scientifically Speaking with Christine on Oz Arab Media. In a world where leadership often means climbing fast, owning the corner office, and making bold moves, our guest today argues something completely different. Authentic influence comes from aligning with values, heart, and purpose. Her upcoming book, UnFollow the Leader, challenges the traditional playbook and offers a fresh blueprint for leading with integrity in the age of AI, burnout, and seismic organizational change. Joining us today is Reem Borrows, a leadership strategist with over 25 years of global experience and the founder of Dreem Coaching and Consulting. Reem, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here today. How are you?
I am very good. Thank you for being here today to speak more about leadership and how we can evolve with it along the years. So if you don't mind me to start straight away, how would you define leadership in 2025 and what does it mean to you personally?
In your introduction, it was perfectly done. Leadership, it really is all about alignment. Nothing that we're going to discuss today is going to come as a surprise to people. It's been handed to us throughout the ages of what great leadership is, does it look like, what does it mean. But ultimately, if I was to summarize it, it's about alignment with purpose. It's about alignment with values. So during the tough times, how are you going to align things with values and just the decisions that you make? And then it's about clarity and understanding what it is that you want and taking steps from there. It's not about hierarchy. It's not about the corner office. It's not about ego. Leadership always starts as well with self-leadership. And I think that's a critical one there, Christine, to just think about, because conscious awareness becomes huge in our discussions today.
Right. Amazing. You've spent more than 2 decades working in a corporate, governmental, and grassroots settings, right? What prompted that shift towards writing this book and founding Dreem Coaching and Consulting?
The book has been in the works for quite some time now.
Amazing.
And I wrote another book beforehand.
Wow.
While I was writing this book. And I think one of the things that really drove me is I was in the corporate space for a very, very long time, 22 years in the pharmaceutical industry, climbing up the career ladder. I loved it. It was everything that you would love it to be. And I've always been really passionate about leadership. For me, towards the end, the higher up the hierarchy I was going, the more I realised I was in spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations. And heart-centred leadership for me is what counts the most. And it was understanding strategy with heart-centred leadership, understanding communication with growth, and then understanding the human mind. How do you impact people the most to help them change their behaviour for the better that is aligned with the purpose? This is huge, right?
It is.
Aligned with the purpose, okay, to get the results that you want and results that stick. So then I decided to start my own business called Dreem Coaching Consulting, so I can go out to as many organisations as possible, see as many people as possible, do my own work as much as possible, and touch as many lives as possible to help people grow beyond their expectations.
Lovely. Your book calls out the old rules of leadership. What are some of those rules and why do you believe they're failing us now?
Such a good question. And I don't really believe in right and wrong, but there is conscious awareness. I mean, one of the things as a leader, most of us think that we have to know everything. We don't have to know everything. We have to be able to recognise a problem and then ask the right questions that's going to help us reach a solution. So, for example, what am I not seeing? What do I want? Who can help me see this better? What if I'm wrong? Ultimately, what does the end result look like? That's the first number one, right? The second one is the vulnerability piece. Strength does not equal not showing weakness. We're all trying to be bravado on the outside, but on the inside, we're all exactly the same, Christine. As soon as we accept this,
Yes.
what's happening under the surface for all of us under the surface is identical. We're all, if we're not consciously aware, we're all led by fear.
Yeah.
So therefore, the ego comes in to protect us. It's not a negative or positive thing. It's just about understanding. So then because, we have 60 to 90,000 thoughts per day, 95% of them are repeated. If you're not consciously aware, 80% of them are going to be negative. It's just the way the brain is structured,
Wow.
right? It's therefore as a protection mechanism. Once you become consciously aware, you start asking all the right questions. So you're not working from fear, you're actually working from love, like love, unconditional love. And here's another old myth, is that love is weak. Love is not weak. It's actually easy to fight. It's easy to self-protect. All of that comes naturally because that's the fight or flight response.
Yes.
What's not easy is to be able to stop, reflect, have a look at what's my responsibility, what questions do I need to ask, how do I bring everyone on the journey.
Yes. It requires a lot of psychology and maturity, if you agree with me.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the human mind is fascinating. I mean, there's a quote that I always start with. 2% of people think, 3% of people think they think, and 95% of people would rather die than think.
Oh, wow. I love it.
Right? Everyone laughs, and you go, but how often are you rather dying than thinking? Because we are on autopilot. Because if we were to critically think all the time, we'd expend so much energy, and the human mind is not designed for that.
Wow.
So I often ask myself when I'm in a bit of a pickle, when I go into feelings, what's driving this feeling? What's driving this thought? Would I rather die than think right now? What questions do I need to ask myself? And do I want to live by my values? What are my values? Because decision making have to, when people make decisions during tough times, it's through a set of values which become critical.
I agree, 100%. Amazing. So in your book that's called the UnFollow the Leader, you talk about leading without losing your humanity. How does this translate into practical tools or behaviors for the managers and the team?
What does that actually even mean, right? Leading without losing humanity. We have this notion that going to work and being part of the cog and you just do the same thing every single day over and over and over and over again, then we expect different results.
Right.
And in the past, I mean, remember the 90s, early 80s and 90s, the stock exchange, you had movies like The Boiler Room, where it's having a look at oneself and how do we climb the corporate ladder at any expense. And that was all very well. Partial leadership over the last 30 years, though, is literally killing us. It's killing organisations. People are suffering from burnout, stress.
Yes.
The latest statistics are showing us that people are quite quitting. That means they're coming to work and they're not showing up. They're physically there, but spiritually they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, then from a productivity perspective within the organisation, what does that mean to us? And are we just ticking boxes? Are we only trying to deliver to the stock market? Are we trying to sell at any cost, which is short-term okay, long-term not sustainable? So you have to have a little bit of a humanity there, so which means that at the door, I mean, we often talk about this, when you come into the organisation, just leave the ego at the door. The ego is really important. Leadership requires a healthy amount of ego with a really healthy amount of humility.
So leaving the ego doesn't mean it's not humility, right? It's like
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've tried to kill my ego. It's the worst thing that you can do. Don't try to kill your ego. That means you're just fighting yourself. Ego is really important.
Yes.
So what you want to have, because otherwise everyone will walk all over you.
Yeah.
You want the confidence.
Yes.
You want the self-reassurance because, people start to question themselves.
Yeah.
You don't want to be questioning yourself every second minute,
Yeah.
but you want a really healthy dose of humility, and that's where questions comes into it. What am I not seeing? Who can help me? What is Christine's different perspective? Why do I assume I'm constantly right? I mean, have a look at the psychology that you spoke about before.
Yes.
We have 400 billion bits of information coming at us any one second. We're only aware of 2,000 bits. Christine, how would I know that I'm right in every single instance? What if I am wrong?
It's okay to listen to others.
So here's what people often think. I can't listen to others because we all think in absolutes. The mind only thinks it's right or wrong. Well, it's not. There's so many different shades of grey.
Yes.
You should be entertaining every single idea. And once you entertain the idea with really good questions, then you get to accept it or reject it. It's up to you to accept it or reject it.
Yes.
That's what a growth mindset is. A fixed mindset is you say something to me and I go, no, Christine, you just don't understand my position. Without me asking you questions, delving into it, being willing to entertain, and then I get the choice of accepting or rejecting.
Amazing. You spoke about the burnout and the disintegration, right? How can shifting the leadership model nowadays help organizations really retain the talent and improve the culture?
That's a huge question. That's like the $1 zillion problem to be solved right now.
Yes.
And what's happening, I think, Christine, is that people are trying to do really big things and doing it in really tiny ways. And we need to have a look at, again, alignment is important. What is our goal? What is the end goal? What values do we live by? Then you ask yourself, well, what structure is going to support that? Okay. After that, you go, well, what order is going to support the structure? That means emotional management. So 2 things that you need is emotional management and consistency in any organisation. Then you go, well, how do we build that appreciation model, which means the gratitude, when you wins beget wins. So you want to say, well, how do we become aware of what it is that we're doing right? What operating rhythm do we need to establish from top to bottom to top, across, that's going to help us achieve our goals, our values? Does that make sense? And then you allow for the flow. It's just that most of us, all we want to do is control the flow.
Yes.
You go, but you haven't set up what it is that you want, how you're going to do the business, the structure that you need, the operating rhythm required, okay, the accountability, engagement piece, rewards and recognition, just simple stuff, but do the small things in really, really good, impactful ways.
Amazing. Well, it's like really setting a business plan and ticking the boxes after that, if I can put it in simple words.
It's strategy meets heart-centered leadership.
Lovely. Okay, my next debate would be, you mentioned that leadership begins when you stop performing and start aligning, and you've been trying to prove your point all along today. Can you share a real-life example where that alignment led to a really measurable change?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different examples. I'm going to use the latest one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it's top of mind as well. When you know how we're all overwhelmed, we're all busy. Anyone that says to you, I'm not busy, or that my company doesn't require a lot, or that I have time for thinking, I question that a little bit, because now it's a fast-paced world. There's a lot of demands, and we've got emails, we've got social media, we've got phones. Nothing is on hold for us. So what was happening in this particular organisation is the manager was a great manager, but she was on like steroids in terms of what she was wanting to do. It's like, go. It's one thing after the other, and firing the emails, expectations. And she'd lost her team along the way, somewhere along the way, where there was a disconnect, and she couldn't understand why. So basically we went into the organisation, we do business audits, have a look from top to bottom, have a look at, well, what's your purpose? Again, the strategy piece, is it aligned with the operating rhythm? We interviewed some of the team members. What I loved about her is she was really open to all of this.
That's good.
We had a look at what she would like to get out of it, and then we had a report back. We started to then implement small things in really big ways. First of all, people, generally speaking, if you ask them what is the company organisational goals and what values are leading you, they will not know.
They will not know.
It's splattered all over our organisations, but no one's aware of them. So that's the first place to stop. Most people want to bring value in what they do day to day. So how about bring them on the journey? Getting them involved in that part. Then the change management becomes really important. Well, how would you like, if we know what the goal is, well, what's the accountability and engagement framework? How would you like to report back and get them involved in it?
From their own position.
From their own position. Then we build strict parameters. Look, this is you have to. Every organisation needs to have strict parameters. Most people don't know what what's expected of them. Build those parameters, and then within those parameters, allow people to bring in their own personalities. What happens is we have no parameters, and we try to control personalities. We've got the equation back to front.
Go, do.
Yes.
Yeah, not in their own way, in her own way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once we just slowly started to build that with weekly meetings, expectations, coaching for transformation, critically important, consistency, mindset work, the results changed completely.
I can imagine. Wow, what a big job. Like when you talk about, a leadership audit, you don't feel there's a lot along the way that comes with the package.
There's a lot of little elements.
Yes.
But they're all very logical, but also heartfelt, not just logic. If you went by only logic, the mind will take you astray.
Yeah.
The heart is what keeps you on the right path.
It keeps you human, really.
Yes, and this is the biggest thing. We've got a bit of another issue with the equation.
Yeah.
The mind, we've made it into the servant, into the master, and the heart has been relegated to second position. What we need to do is have the heart relegated to first position because it knows so much more, and then use this beautiful creative mind of ours as the humble, strong servant. It will do you wonders when you're willing to open up the heart. And that's the work that we do. That's why it takes conscious awareness.
It does. Wow, amazing. Reem, if you don't mind, I'd like to tackle a little bit and discuss AI. Right? It's everywhere now, in every industry. And I'd like to know a little bit about it in the role of leadership with the evolving machines and the takeover of many tasks. Would it really happen in the leadership position?
Well, it's an interesting one because every time there's something new, people say, what about our jobs? But if we have a look for the last few centuries, a lot of jobs were no longer exist, but new jobs have been created as a result as well. Will it take human, heart-centered leadership over? No. That's simple. I mean, no, it won't, and it never will. I don't believe. Because the day it does, we may as well just shut shop. I think we can use AI to our advantage, though. I would be asking probably different questions around how can I use AI to give me time to think? If 95% of people would rather die than think because we're so overwhelmed and we're constantly in the doing, the question becomes for me is how do I use AI to give me the space for thinking?
Let it do the paperwork or the other work and I'll do the thinking.
The thinking. There is a proviso with that, though. It doesn't do the work for you. AI cannot replace your thinking. You've probably seen a lot of documents that go out, you go, this has just been AI. No one has actually even given it any thought process.
True.
You have to think about what questions you're going to ask AI. You have to think about what role you play, the editing portion. How do I say, with ease, grace and love.
Nice.
Balance, focus and flow. So how do I use AI to give me the gift of time in order to give more of myself and add value to my team?
Nice. Amazing. That's a good balance in my opinion. You emphasize emotional intelligence and you spoke about it today in ethical work and values-based decisions, right? How do leaders avoid falling into people-pleasing or false authenticity? Because we see a lot of that, don't we?
Yeah, that's another really good question. And that's where self-leadership starts. Conscious awareness is really critical. Why am I doing this? Is it? Because you have to go dig deep. Is it coming from fear or is it coming from faith?
Right.
Now, you can tell pretty much straight away by the way you're feeling. Don't go by what you're thinking. Go by what you're feeling. Do you know when you have that icky feeling and it's a rush? That just means it's coming from a place of fear. You're worried, will people like me? What if I get found out that I don't know what I'm doing? What if I make a mistake? That's what's driving behaviour.
Don't finish until the due date or something.
Yes. Yeah. Rather, I would go, well, what would unconditional love, what would faith do? Okay, and that is a completely different equation. So then you say, how can I come from a place of more self-confidence, knowing who I am, self-leadership, to understand what thoughts are driving your feelings and what actions are coming out as a result of your feelings. Human nature is so interesting. When we take actions, we're not taking it from a logical perspective. The actions we take only come from feelings. So we have to understand what's driving our feelings. If I am doing everything just to please you, that's a surefire way to eventually fail. And it's taxing. Burnout comes from that because you don't know you can't set boundaries. We have to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. The only reason why we don't know is because we don't have a clear, defined goal. Christine, how can I say no to you if I don't know what I want?
Yeah, that's true.
How can I say no to you? So I say every single morning, you wake up and you go, what is my intention for today? And every single meeting that I'm about to have, what's my intention for long term? What am I trying to create here? And then work on yourself and find out where are your fears. And ask your ego, is this really true? Do I really want to believe that I can't do something? Or can I just say, I'm just not good at it yet?
Okay.
It's okay. Again, when you asked, what is leadership? You don't have to know everything from a leadership perspective, but you do have to know where do I go to get that information and who can help me.
Interesting. Many leaders do struggle with identity, with the ego or imposter syndrome. I'm sure you've heard of those before. How does your book address these human challenges within leadership? Again, the internal psychology.
It is all internal psychology. And imposter syndrome, if you want to do anything of any value, just understand that you're going to go through imposter syndrome. Congratulations, it's great. For me, I look at it, if I'm feeling a little bit less confident, it just means I'm doing something new. So I congratulate myself. And magic only happens out of your comfort zone. It's just that the brain is designed to keep us in our comfort zone. So it's working to the opposite. All we have to do is be consciously aware that I'm about to do something new. It's going to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to be great at it as if once I've done it a few times. And the imposter syndrome is going to kick in because that's its duty. It has to kick in because it actually fires us to do better. So I go, congratulations, Reem, you're doing something brand new. You're feeling nervous. You're feeling like you're a bit of an imposter. You're on the right track. So again, it's defining what is imposter syndrome. As long as you don't allow it to get in the way and stop you from doing that you have to do.
Lovely.
But with leaders, a lot of times they do find that struggle because what happens is they think that people have an expectation of them. So we're not worried about what we think of ourselves. We're worried about what we think other people think of us. And are you ready for the clincher here? We're so worried about what other people think about ourselves. We don't realize that what we think others think of us is just a reflection of what we think of ourselves. Because how can you possibly know what another person's thinking about you? It's just a reflection. That'll give you a good idea about what you think of yourself, and that's when you can start tackling it.
What you are mirroring, really.
It's all mirror. It's all a reflection. If I see in you, for example, something that's absolutely amazing, well, you know what that means? It means if I can recognize it, I have the potential to be as good as you in it. If I see something in you and I judge you, all that means I'm judging myself because it's a reflection of me, and I'm just trying to make myself feel better about myself by judging you. The question, Christine, is more around, am I willing to go deep inside? Because it's a bit painful looking at yourself.
It is. I was going to say it's better said than done, right? You know that they're judging you because it's in them, not in you, but still, it's too hard to really, on daily basis, to take that in, right?
Well, it depends on what you want. So for me, I have on a daily basis, I've got a toolkit. So I do sit with myself and I reflect. And reflection is so important. And then I decide, entertain new ideas, and then I decide, am I going to accept it or reject it? If I accept it, well, what am I going to do? If I reject it, well, what am I going to do?
Definitely.
Self-awareness solves 95% of problems.
Wow.
You just have to have time to stop and think.
Not burn out.
not burnout.
To be
Yes.
able to have that time for.
Yes.
Amazing. Looking ahead, Reem, what are the emerging leadership challenges you see in workplaces shaped by the remote work or the hybrid culture and the digital transformation, really our era at the moment?
Connection. We really, what we have to be mindful. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but we have to be mindful and again consciously aware of that connection that we might be losing as a result of it, and ask ourselves, well, how do we make up for that? There's nothing nicer than human connection. The other day I was doing a workshop with a group of people who had been working remotely. The first thing they said after they finished was how invigorated they were and how much they missed that connection without even realizing it.
Right.
Because we need that. If we believe, part of the biggest challenge is this whole division and separation. We are all connected one way or the other. Whether we like it or not, whether we realize it or not, as human beings, we're all connected. What impacts you will impact me. So how do we bring that human connection back within the world of IT and technology and fast pace? We can still do it. We just have to stop and think and ask the questions, how do I keep that connection going?
Lovely.
And one of the biggest elements is always thinking about, what do I want? Again, you go back to that strategy side. What are we trying to produce? And work backward. It's this change, the theory of change strategic framework.
Right.
Go to the end in mind and then project manage your way through from end to beginning as to what elements do we need to keep us connected.
Right. Amazing. If you could collaborate today with one future technology or system, how would you see it supporting a new leadership model?
Oh, that's a tough question.
It
because
is,
there's
isn't it? There's a lot out there.
tough. There's so many out there. For me, I have a look at, because we also have the whole environmental responsibility. So the question is, how do we use technology,
Yes.
okay, to help us with our environmental responsibilities? And every CEO is being asked that question. That's the first question I would put out there. And for me, the working remote, there's nothing wrong with working remote.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. The question is, have we got the right operating rhythm and accountability framework to support that? And how do we support our teams? So everyone wants everyone to come into the office, as an example. Well, you've got Zoom. There's a whole host of things that you can use to even help our environment.
Right.
So it becomes, well, how do we change the operating rhythm to help ourselves to continue the connection piece? So I've seen people use it not so well, where you have 3-day trainings on Zoom. You're literally killing people.
Yes. Just reminds us of COVID.
It does, doesn't it? And that from that perspective, I think we're overusing that technology.
Yes.
But you can use it to benefit. So, for example, if you have a face-to-face conference, how are we going to have regular check-ins, even if it's no more than 20 minutes to 45 minutes with our remote teams, to stay on top of it?
Right.
I love Zoom.
Yeah.
I love AI. I love social media. But anything that's used unconsciously and we just become slaves to it, is going to work against us because it's not how the human mind works.
Right.
So the question I'd be asking is, how are we going to use it most effectively? And first understand, what impact does it have on us? So Zoom, you know how we're right now together. I can look you in the eye and there's a connection. On Zoom, when you're using Zoom or Teams, you know that we never look each other in the eye?
No, we're looking at ourselves on the camera.
So
and others.
Yes, so we miss that connection. That's why it doesn't work. That's why the heart doesn't connect. So how do we do it better is the only question I would be asking.
Lovely. Well, but this generation upcoming is all stuck to the technology and the new advancements. What would you advise them to become leaders, to focus on? What, in terms of their titles or of their success, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, COVID, if we have a look at the young kids today, I had two kids at school, in high school, during COVID.
Right.
And the question became, and you noticed it really quickly, those who were extroverted missed the connection, really missed, and did struggle.
Yes.
Those who were introverted were like pigs in mud. They loved it.
Yeah.
But what happened is that reintegration into the face-to-face was a lot harder, and we're still seeing some of the difficulties that these young people are facing. So I don't know if you've noticed, they prefer texting over calling.
They do. From my own kids. They're not in high school yet, and they do that.
They prefer, it's like just pick up the phone. So the advice I would say, and most people are looking now, how can I earn the most amount of money with the least amount of work?
Yes.
Influencers are having an impact. They see what's working on social media and they think that's life. What they don't see is how much is failing on social media. So I would still go back to what is it that I want to create. Don't be scared of hard work. Go from the heart. Don't be after titles, be after experience. Add value, constantly add value. Because if you want to climb that corporate ladder or success, you only need 2 things: emotional management and consistency. And you need to prove your value and your worth to people. So you always have to do a little bit more, get yourself out of your comfort zone than what your title expects you to do. You hear this probably as well. I'm not paid to do this.
Oh, a lot.
Okay, so you're not paid to do this. That's fine if you just want to stay where you are. How are you going to prove yourself? How are you going to learn more? How are you going to find new opportunities? How about that question? New opportunities come to you when you put yourself out of your comfort zone, when you do more than what is expected of you, and when you tell people, this is what I need to learn, and you flag it. That's how it all comes about.
It goes again back to the ego. Do I really want to say that I don't know this?
Yes, absolutely. It does. And I think we need to really, one thing we're not teaching or maybe we are, but maybe we need to teach a lot more. Resilience with our kids, resilience, and the young leaders. So it's okay, this is life, you're going to fall, right? When you fall, the question is not are you going to fall, it's how quickly can you pick yourself back up? And what questions are you going to ask? And how quickly can you dust yourself off? And don't take anything personally.
Right.
The next part is around, okay, the ego is good, but are you going to allow it to get in the way of your success? Because sometimes that's called self-sabotage.
Yeah.
A lot of people just self-sabotage because they allow the ego to get in the way. Use your ego for the good. Speak to your ego as if it's a child. That's the best
Nice.
advice I can give anyone. Because we have so many thoughts per day. If you were to, 60 to 90,000 thoughts per day, if you were to believe every thought that you had, you'd be in trouble. We'll all be in trouble, all of us. So speak to that ego as if it's your child. How would you speak to your child? So be kind, be gentle, and thank it for what its role is, and then ask it to help you to do what it is that you want to do. So the heart needs to ask the ego to help it. Like, can you find a way of doing this better for me? Can you help me identify the genuine opportunities versus people who are trying to use me? How about putting the ego to work for good, not bad?
Nice. Very wise words out there. I'm learning a lot today. Amazing. Reem, part of my show is to bust some myths. I'd like it because a lot out there, people in our community think about something and they don't know that it might be a myth and it might have some wrong equation in it. So how about I try to give you a few leadership and culture related statements. You tell me if it's true or false and maybe a little why.
Beautiful.
All right, let's do that. The first one would be great leaders always need to be the smartest person in the room. No.
It's false. It's an absolute myth. If you are trying to be the smartest person in the room, that will get you into a specialty. Fantastic, congratulations. It won't get you into the best leadership roles. Leaders, the strongest leaders and the most successful leaders are ones that have a knowledge about things and then rely on specialists to help them. You need to be able to ask the right questions, not know everything.
Nice. Leadership is nearly identical in all cultures and industries.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. That's a little bit of a yes and no.
Okay.
So for them, at a basic human level, underneath the surface, yes, conscious awareness. So self-leadership. No, we have to be so aware of cultural differences.
Right.
However, great leaders understand that right up front. Okay. So they allocate that need to have differences
Right.
and diversity.
Okay.
So if it's coming from the heart, the heart will understand what it needs to do. If it's coming from, look, one standard fits all, that's a sure sign failure. Even within a culture, there is no one standard fits all, because different people have different human preferences and behavioural preferences. So it's like, even as a mother, as a kid, you would not treat every single child exactly the same, because they have different personalities.
Yes.
So the question would become, how do I adapt my leadership to bring people on the journey to change their behaviour for the positive?
Right. Just like that success story we spoke about, don't go because it needs to be done maybe in
Absolutely.
different ways until it gains
Absolutely.
success. Amazing. The third sentence would be, leading with heart means being soft or weak. And you did mention that.
There's no way. That is the biggest fallacy ever. Leading with heart is strength. It is so easy to have arguments. It's so easy only to think about yourself. It is so easy to climb all over other people. It's easy. Have fights. I mean, have a look at the state of the world. It's easy.
True.
Have a look at what happened in COVID and fighting over toilet paper.
Yes.
It's easy. What's not easy, so division is easy because the mind always tries to divide
Right.
and look for differences. The heart always looks for where are the similarities.
The bonding.
But it also means that you have to reflect on yourself, and that's not easy. So true strength comes from that.
Heart.
The heart. Being able to say, what if I'm wrong? And putting your ego to the side, or helping your ego navigate through it, is strength.
Lovely. AI will soon replace human leadership altogether.
Yeah, huge false.
Yeah.
Huge false. It may replace some jobs, but it will create new jobs.
Right.
And leadership will always have to go back to the heart. We can't be scared of technology. And what we have to be careful of, though, with AI is, what do we feed it? AI is driven by human behaviour.
True.
What are we feeding it?
Yeah.
So if we're consciously aware of that, I've said that word so many times, but, then we can let it help us to give us the gift of time.
Good. Lucky last, if you're not in a leadership title, you cannot influence culture.
So false. The first lesson I learned when I entered the corporate world was, if I can influence people's behaviour without reporting lines for the better, that's true leadership.
Nice.
That is true leadership. You can be a leader at any sort of level, culturally, in organisations, in networking meetings. Leadership does not rely on reporting lines.
Nice. Reem, believe it or not, we're coming close to our discussion, but that
So
was
much fun.
It was, and very informative, to be honest. But before we close, tell us a little bit more about UnFollow the Leader, your book. When is it coming up? When can we buy it? Where? How? All the questions and answers that we'd like to know.
No, thank you.
Of course.
UnFollow the Leader is due out in the new year. You can pre-order on Publifizer right now. I can send you the link for that.
Sure.
And that would be so helpful for me as well, because it just
course.
helps me to bring it out even faster.
Yeah.
But it is due out in the new year. The UnFollow the Leader is going to be a guide.
Nice.
Okay, it does have a lot of examples in there, but there's also an opportunity, this is what I don't say often enough, to download a fair number of tools. Once you buy it, you will have a code and you'll be able to download a fair number of tools. I wrote it so that if people just want to work on it by themselves without going out to consultants and trainers and
Yes.
coaches, just do it.
Nice.
Like for $35, but just do it.
Not
and
even one session of consulting.
no, nowhere near it. But the aim was to give people that toolkit that they needed, and to go back to their toolkit every time they needed something.
It'll be their guidebook.
It'll be their guidebook.
Lovely.
And I've not left anything out of it when it comes to leadership. I mean, obviously, the reality is I probably did, because we don't know everything.
Right.
But I've tried, at the time, with the tools that I had, because we all only do the best we can with the tools that we've given
True.
at that moment in time, it was everything that I
Amazing.
have to offer.
I'd like to congratulate you already about that book, and I hope it sells because it sounds just very interesting and very helpful. Reem, thank you so much for joining us today. Your insights into conscious leadership, values-driven change, and the crossroads between AI and humanity have truly enlightened us and myself, truly. So thank you again for your time today.
Thank you so much for your time. And what you're doing is wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Reem. No worries at all. And to all our listeners, before we go, whatever your role play, your leadership matters. Leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are, how you show up, and the ripple that effect you create. Stay curious, stay aligned, and keep leading with the heart. This was Scientifically Speaking with Christine on Oz Arab Media. Until next time.